Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here and we're back at it again and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. Now let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hello, Noctis Luna's here.
Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about, like where you're from, what you do, give us that like Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Well, I'm actually from Southern California. The Redlands is like an hour drive from LA. And then I moved up here April of 2008 because my mom married stepdad and I just been here ever since. And I've been always wanting to do music, but I just didn't know how to at first.
That's fair. It's definitely a bit of a process.
It really is.
Do you play any instruments?
I don't anymore, but I used to play the flute in middle school.
Yep.
Band class.
Yep, we all had a band instrument. Mine was violin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then they took the program away from my school, and I was like, what do I do now? And then it was piano, but that's a story we'll tell on a different episode. That's a whole other thing. What got you into making music initially?
Actually, my beautiful fiance, Loto.
Shout out Loto.
Yeah, shout out Loto.
It's like he's here with us in spirit.
Yeah, exactly. We met in late 2018, early 2019. We met at a house show, and then we just started talking a little bit through DM, and then he invited me over and he was like, hey, do you make music? And I'm like, no, I do not. But he's like, do you have anything written? I'm like, yes, I do. Can I read them? And I was like, I had literally, that was the first experience I ever had anyone ask me to look at my art like that and just be interested in it. And
that's also just such a Loto thing to do. Just, hey, you do music? Can I see it?
Right? Love the man.
Yeah, big fan.
Same, me too.
Now, this next question, it's one we ask pretty early on, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh, man. You're asking me to go way back. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember what I bought, but I can tell you the first two albums that I physically remember seeing.
Okay.
It was I don't remember if it was her first or second, but it was like one of Taylor Swift's early country albums and My Black Parade.
Okay. Well, really just spanning the gambit on that one, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, wait, and Evanescence, big Evanescence fan.
I mean, banger. Quality music.
Exactly.
That was a soundtrack of a generation for sure.
Agreed.
Now, tell us about the first show you ever went to.
I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
really starting off strong.
Yeah. It was.
Who did they play with?
I don't remember who they played with. I think it was just, might have been... I don't remember. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I mean, sometimes the openers are just like super obscure.
Yeah.
And they're like a band that you're like, it would be somebody like their opener could be somebody big, but they always just bring somebody that they're like, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Like I remember I went to see Chromeo once, and their opener was this like wild Japanese like punk, like punk math rock, like high energy band. They were like a 3-piece with like keys, bass, drums, and like everybody did vote. It was wild, but I can't tell you what they were called. But it was a very bizarre opener.
That sounds honestly really cool.
It was super cool. I wish I remembered because I would have them on the show. So if you happen to be opening for Chromeo way back at the Fox Theater in like, I don't know, 2007, I'm going to say 2009, somewhere in there, hit me up. It was probably you.
Yeah, you should hit him up.
But let's get back into it. Why don't we go ahead and dive into you as the artist?
All right, here we go.
And go ahead and tell us how'd you pick your name?
Well, recently I changed my name to Noctis Luna with also my fiance Loto, because I wanted to go a kind of new direction with my music, with the Burn the Witch single I just put out recently. It just honing in my like spiritual aspects of myself and not trying to put it out as kind of costumey or being obvious, but I just want to put who I am into music, you know? My energy.
Can you define the word Noctis? Yeah, you can look it up too if you need that. If you,
It means night.
What?
It means night in
Night in what?
Latin.
In land?
Latin.
oh,
It means night in Latin.
man, really
Yeah.
spoke to you on that one, didn't
Yeah,
it?
really.
Just like came up out of nowhere. For
No,
sure.
yeah, because Luto knows that I love the moon, I love the night. Honestly, I'm more of a night person, and he's like, oh, da 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 da. And I was like thinking back on it, I'm like, do I want to have that name? And I was like, that actually feels nice. It feels right. I feel like I should go that direction.
It writes easy. It's easy to spell. It's easy to remember, and it's not like tough to say.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's definitely like it's something that's mentioned on the show all the time. That like just a good name can go a long way.
It really can.
And like, you know, if it's your creative decision to have a complex one or an obnoxious one or an abstract one, what have you, that's, you know, totally your choice.
Oh, yeah.
But one that is easy to latch onto usually gets retained better. So that's, you know.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's always cool when it hits, when you're like, yo, this is my music name. And people are like, hey, that fucks. Like,
right. They get
that
the
always,
vibe.
That always works. All right. Now tell us about your writing process and like, what decides that a track is like started? Like when you get in the moment, like what do you decide is like the beginning of a song, and then what decides a track is done?
Can you repeat that first question for me again? I'm really
Yeah, let's do it in two parts.
Yeah.
How do you start a song?
Well, I normally start a song by asking my lovely producer to be like, hey, throw me a beat together. This is the type of energy I want to go for. And he normally shows it to me, but he'll send it to me sometimes if we're like, you know, out of the house or something. And I'll look at it. I'm like, huh. And if I'm feeling in the mood for it, because sometimes if you're just looking at a beat, it just, I can't seem to write to certain beats sometimes if I'm not in the mood for it. But when I am in the mood, I just try to do my best to cohesively make sense. Is what I have trouble with is the like rhyme scheme and like making sure I'm not like putting too much into one section and not making sense in the other, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what decides a song is done?
When I feel satisfied about how it sounds and when the direction that it's going. Sorry to sound like a broken record, but
No, that's fine.
Burn the Witch here, it sounded right towards the end, and also my lovely fiance Loto is very helpful with that too, and boosting my confidence as well. It's like, I mean, I can boost my own confidence, but it's nice to have that outside perspective, like, yeah, this is good. I'm like, oh, thank you. I needed that reassurance.
Yeah, it's always it's cool when you have another person that's like supportive of the process.
Exactly, yeah.
And before we talk about Burn the Witch, I actually kind of want to dive into that dynamic a little bit. What is it like, you know, like being in a relationship, living with somebody that you're also making music with? Like, is it like, do you have to find a balance? Does it happen organically? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, there has to be a balance with certain things, like, you know, with personal life and music life. You know, we originally weren't living together and we just moved in recently again.
That's right.
So, I mean, we were living with each other before and then we moved out and now we're back in. So it's definitely a process sometimes, but I feel like when it comes to music, on the music aspect of things, we work really well, and he knows how I work because I am severely ADHD and sometimes I can get a little bit distracted or start to trail off about certain things. I think you'll notice that the whole episode.
Okay, well, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing with that. Now go ahead and tell us about Burn the Witch.
Well, Burn the Witch, I just wanted to put out something that represented me, because I have a couple of other songs on my SoundCloud that I put out like a couple of years ago. They're nice for what they are. They're memories in time, but I wanted to put something else out new that's just represented me now.
Yeah.
I'm not the same person that I was when I first put out those songs. I wanted to really get honed into my like spiritual side, and like, you know, just also a little bit of some anger and a lot of stress lately. So I just wanted to have a healthy outlet, and well, Burn the Witch turned out really well, I think. That it really shows how much energy I can show people, and I never really realized that until I heard the final mix and master of it, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I all right, I can do it. I got it.
There's definitely something about that moment, especially for like when it's the first song, like even if it's the first song of like a new project, like there's that defining moment where when you hear the first track back after master and you're just like, this is it. Like, this is my sound.
Exactly.
And like, you know, even if it changes over time, like there's that first moment where you're like, now I've done it. And it hits every time. So that's a real special moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have more stuff planned, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead? Let's dive into some hypothetical questions.
All right, I'm ready.
And go ahead and tell us if you could perform anywhere in the world. And like, you didn't have to worry about like location, you didn't have to worry about structure, you didn't have to worry about like people getting in, anything like that. Where would you pick?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I have a couple places in mind, actually. Somewhere just out in the... Why am I spacing? I'm so sorry. Just somewhere out in Japan where it's like really nice, like garden area, just out in the skirts. Just that seems to be, I don't know, that would be a cool vibe. Or, I mean, there's a few places out here actually, like the Hawthorne maybe would be cool if I got to perform at the Hawthorne or something, or at like bigger places where more people, you know, would notice me, you know?
No, totally. Okay, well, hey, I mean, those are all solid choices.
Yeah.
Oh, man, somebody said something really cool the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but I like to bring them up. Somebody finally defunct the moon one. Yeah, I know. I was so like, wow. Because they were like, we'll perform on the moon. And I was like, but you can't because sound doesn't travel in space. He's like, we'll develop a kind of sound that can. And I was like, oh, man. You're a robotics engineer. Of course you can of course you can develop sound that travels in space. Like, what a cool answer to a real problem.
Oh my.
I know.
That's
I know.
the best answer anyone could give.
I know.
Honestly, I wish I had that.
It blew my mind. I'm going to share it periodically just so it lives in the ethos of, you know, the Jambox universe forever.
It has to, honestly. It needs to stay. It's here to stay.
It's a good answer.
The best answer so far.
It ruined my, but you can't pick the moon line. So now it's a little bit, you know, a little bit petty. No, I'm kidding. All right. And diving back into it, if you could perform with any one artist, who would you pick? Oh, and they have to be currently alive.
Currently alive. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And you can't pick Loto.
Oh, yeah. A few. Amy Lee from Evanescence, Hayley Williams from Paramore. Oh, wait, no, she's not alive anymore. Rip to the Cranberries lady. R.I.P. Saphir, she's a more underground artist than those two, but she's definitely popular, and I love her work, and I would love to work with her. And also 93 Feet of Smoke. He's pretty cool. Pretty cool guy.
See, now I was about to ask subsequently who's like a local artist that you haven't like connected with but you would like to work with. So we're probably going to put them on the list right now.
Yeah. 93. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. If you want to be on the show, 93.
You should. I recommended you.
I slid in those DMs. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Now, but Who's another local artist that you would be interested in working with?
Ooh. Actually, you've had her on your show, Kill Maddie.
Okay, yeah. Shout out Kill Maddie.
Shout out Kill Maddie. I love your work.
That'd be a fun one. I'm sure if you message her, she would be down.
Oh, I'm sure.
She's very friendly.
I get very shy most of the time. I'm like, I don't want to seem like that person's like, listen to my beat. Oh, listen to this. I don't know. Like those like spammers, not like, I don't know how to explain it, I guess.
No, I gotcha. Well, I'm sure somebody watching this episode knows her as well, and that can make it happen.
Hey, thank you. That'd be cool.
All right, and now to wrap up the hypothetical questions. If you had to pick a completely different genre than any genre you performed before, what would you pick?
Man.
I know, it's always a tougher one than people think it's going to be.
That is a very tough question. I would only do this because I feel like it would really shock people. Country.
Okay.
It would shock people. Emo country is starting to be a thing.
It's real.
It really is.
It's real. It's real, y'all. It's coming for y'all whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
All right, let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. Can you tell us what you have coming up in the future, say like mid-September and onwards?
I have a couple of projects in mind that I'm going to be doing here soon. It's in the works right now, but look out for that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then for this next one, go ahead and look at the camera and tell just everybody where they can find you. Give us all the ads, the plugs, things like that.
All right. Again, this is Noctis Luna. You can find me at Instagram strawberry milk period 99. And my link tree is in my bio, so you can find my SoundCloud and whatever you need there.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Shout out Little Bo Weep, Rip. Shout out my mom. She made this awesomeness. Shout out you, honestly, for having me on it. Like, I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Is like the first person to ever interview me and actually respect what I do, because I never really gotten that before.
Oh, definitely. Well,
most
super
of
happy to have you.
Yeah, most people in the scene are fakes and snakes and creepos and pedos and abusers. So I try to find the group of people that don't actually suck.
Well, we're happy to have you on here. Also, fun fact, you were one of the first people that ever showed up with a guest. Or like that was going to be on the show. So when Loto came and did his, nobody else had ever sat in the room before.
Oh, that's
so I was
funny.
just like, oh, what does it look like to another person and not the camera? So there you go. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
Exactly.
All right, now I've got one last question, but I'm
Yeah.
steal the camera for just a second.
Yeah, of course.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And now for the final question. What is your guilty pleasure song?
My best friend is gonna hate me for this, but I also low-key shout out my number one fan, Dallas. Appreciate you, but you're gonna hate me for this one. The Duck Song.
Yep.
Yeah. Just let that settle in.
It's a banger.
It's a banger, but
It's a banger. Well, this has been another episode. No, I'm kidding. All right, hey, that's a great answer though. That's perfect example of an honest answer, y'all. Sometimes it's okay to be
weird.
It's okay to be the Duck Song. All right, we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
Really appreciate it. It
This
was a
was
lot
really
of fun.
fun.
All right, y'all, this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jam Box. I'm Jimmy,
This is Noctis Luna.
and we're signing off. Later, y'all.
Laters.
Oh, wait.
What?
Do you want to perform a song?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back, y'all.
Hello, Noctis Luna's here. This is Burn the Witch. Thank you for listening and subscribe to Jimmy Jam Box. Thank you very much. You are so basic, I think you need to face it. So hard for you to see yourself, look like you need some LASIK. Go trip on another bitch, cause I ain't the one. Got 100 shorties on my dick while I cast my wand. I'm deplorable, so horrible, so stay the fuck away from me. This blade has slain 1,000 men, a master when I let it swing. Drip in my coffin, my witch is with me often. You think you're above me, but man, you really lost it. Water sign, so I bend like Katara. Real blood bender, get you up when I wanna. I could put a spell on you, fuck you up when I wanna. Screw another bitch while I smoke on this ganja. No evil can touch me, my ancestors above me. Protected, you can fuck me. Get hexed for life, they bluffing. From dusk till dawn, I gather all my energy. From dusk till dawn, I manifest all that I need. Eeny, miny, mo, catch a fake by their toe. If you really tryna fight, bitch, call up your bros. As I'm so above, I watch you so below. We're the people that support you. Do you really know? One more look in the mirror. Is the picture getting clearer? Is this just the start, or are you falling apart? Stitch up your seams before I make a scene. Cause I love bathing in the blood of my enemies. Bitch, you are so basic, I think you need to face it. So hard for you to see yourself, look like you need some LASIK. Go trip on another bitch, cause I ain't the one. Got 100 shorties on my dick while I cast my wand. I'm deplorable, so horrible, so stay the fuck away from me. This blade has slain 1,000 men, a master when I let it swing. Drip in my coffin, my witch is with me often. Think you're above me, but man, you really lost it.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.